Okay, so this is part two. Part one got cut off because my phone had too many videos on it, so I deleted a bunch. So this one should be able to run a little bit longer. But I was talking about how I was coming up with this idea of doing this fictional story where it was people would look at it and say, dude, all that shit's true. Therefore, those parts there must be true. So it was going to be kind of like a big Jedi mind fuck for everybody. And then things really, so I was really compelled to do this. And so as those of you who've watched the channel for a long time, you know, I had the talent, or whatever you want to call it, of being able to outrun the police and never getting caught in fast cars. And so I figured, well, hell, every cool movie I ever went and watched, whether it was Bad Boys or, Knight Rider, Dukes of Hazzard, Batman, whatever it is growing up, cartoons, whatever it is that I'm watching, 80s TV shows, the good guys always have to have the ability to, they have to have some superpower, and it's very common that people need to be able to evade the bad guys and or catch the bad guys when they want to. So I took it as a very high priority to become as good at driving as I possibly could, and try to get in shape. I was like a fat kid kind of in late middle school. I'd gotten pretty heavy or whatever, and it didn't happen until middle school, but I just didn't eat well at all, and started working at a landscape company, 70 hours a week, dodging child labor laws when I was like 13 years old. And I would rollerblade, and then I started playing lacrosse, and they'd have us run 8 miles when it's 30 degrees outside. And I got Achilles tendonitis because I'd never been a runner before, but it was like Forrest Gump. All of a sudden I could just go and run for 8 miles. Thank God for eating a little bit more healthy, and also just, going out and forcing myself day after day after day to run and run and run. And I took on different jobs where I could run, and I got pretty damn fast, could jump pretty high, and got really athletic. This is before I fucked up my left leg, and when I was 19 in my motorcycle wreck. But the point is, so I was really like moving very fast, and just taking big risks, but educated risks as far as people that I would hang out with and just different things. And I was extremely curious, okay? Whether it's Einstein or Tesla, they were both extremely curious people. And so I was just extremely curious about what's going on in the world around me. And I always kind of knew that, joining the CIA meant that you're like a level up from everybody else, as far as being able to do what you want to do, and having somebody be able to get you out of speeding tickets, or have an excuse to drive fast or go travel around the world or whatever. So these were like natural things in my mind that I wanted to do. My dad kicked the Air Force recruiter out of the house when he came to because it's a long story. It's a very complex story that I didn't even fully understand at the time, why my dad was the way that he was. He was my stepdad, but why he was the way that he was. My real dad's out of the picture. So biological dad's out of the picture. And I knew I was smart in certain ways. And I'm going to go so far as to say brilliant, off the charts in certain ways. Like my teachers, they didn't hesitate to tell me. They'd be mad that I wouldn't do my homework. And they'd be mad that I couldn't, quote unquote, prove certain things in math. And they're like, well, you're just using the calculator. I'm like, no, I'm not. Here, take the calculator, or watch me do this. Give me a new problem. And they'd say, okay, here's a new problem. And I'd say, okay, I'm not going to use the graphing calculator to solve it in the way that you think I'm going to use the graphing calculator. I might use the calculator for basic math to avoid having to do basic math written out, but here's how I solve this. And it's like I set up ranges in my mind, and then I collapse in on the answer. And I'm very good at that. And they're like, that's crazy that you do it that way. But you don't have to be exceptional at math to be able to solve really complex problems with that strategy. And not trying to toot my horn, but when I look at what Einstein did, that's how Einstein did what he did. And a lot of people don't understand that. Anyway. So I've had teachers over the years come out and say, you think like Einstein does. Like really smart physics teachers, different people have told me, they're like, you think like Einstein does. Like he wasn't good at math, but he could figure things out and then go past everybody because of his way he could figure things out. I'm like, bingo. I feel like you guys are just a bunch of robots that you don't have any ability to go to the next step. And so anyway, so, you know, okay, so let's just fast forward here. Let's get to the point. So my fictional character that I would put in this story that's like me, but then goes the next step further. He's like Batman or whatever. He's doing bigger things. Knight Rider, he's doing bigger things. He gets, in my fictional story, 9/11 is a conspiracy. And so he's hanging out with people who, for whatever reason, know that 9/11 is going on, or that was going to happen, then it happened. And then he finds out that these people that he knows are not necessarily friends. They're secret adversaries, and they've kind of put him in the middle of something. And so he's trying to figure it out from down. So it's just this big mystery of like, what the fuck's going on? And who's good, who's bad? What do I believe in? And so my character makes money in South Florida illegal street racing because he found a bunch of guys who had more money than a lot of money and all had the really hot Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches all souped up. And so my character came to the table with a C5R motor Lingenfelter Corvette C5, and he would get them to gamble because when they would go out at night, they'd say, okay, we're going to go to this spot. Okay, now where should we go next? We'll go to the next spot. You know what? Let's run down to Miami to Rusty Pelican. Okay, now let's go up to, Scarlett's, the club in Fort Lauderdale, Hollandale Beach area. Okay, now let's go up to West Palm because there's a big event at the Breakers or whatever. So my character is this 18-year-old kid running with people who are players, like super players in this world, so to speak. And my character didn't know why. So it's a crazy long story how my character got into that group, and that's part of the mystery of like what was going on. But neither here nor there. So so my character becomes very not impressed by your average human being after he hangs out with the guys, because the guys are just on another level of intelligence. It's like you got the guys who are potentially running coke off from South America, bringing it up on their boats, and they do that. And then you got the guys who are like world bankers. Then you got, so he was just, sons of world bankers kind of thing, family of world bankers. And so he was just kind of in the middle of this club. And the only reason why he got into the club was because of his ability to drive. And so you're like, oh, it was like Fast and the Furious. No, actually Fast and the Furious, I felt like stole my ideas and made them super cheesy. And so my movies, in a weird way, I'm glad that Fast and the Furious came out because it made me focus more on just making my movies more dry, like, more the Goodfellas, talk about the business side of things and the intellectual side of things, and then the car chases and stuff just happen, so to speak. It's not the primary focus of the movie, but it's there. And so I went to film school along the way because I had this idea, and I was like, I'm going to make this fictional movie, and it's going to talk about all this stuff, and it's going to be this huge controversial thing, and I'm just going to do it myself. I'm just going to find a few people, and we're just going to create this movie without even, having Hollywood backing and blah, 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 blah. So then I started realizing, well, you need some money, and so I started thinking about, I went and worked for my family for a while because they gave me this crazy ultimatum that if I didn't come work for them, I was disowned. And like, I'm not invited to family dinner anymore at like the country club and shit if I don't come home and work for the family. And I'm like, okay. So I do that. I get presented with that several times. In hindsight, they just wanted me out and they were trying to come up with excuses. But instead, I just was like, okay, fine. They thought that I would say, fuck you guys, I'm in Florida, fuck off. But I would always come home because family was important to me, and I couldn't understand why they were being so weird. And It's a long story. It has to do with stock and all this other bullshit. So anyway, then I made it very clear that I didn't want. I was like, I'm fine without it. Just leave me be. But then my family, they're a very powerful family, and they're used to being worshipped as like the shit, and they can't keep up with my conversations about physics. They can't keep up with my conversations about the magic tricks behind, the what's going on in the world around them with money and just different things. They could not keep up. And they thought that I was just kind of full of shit. And it's like, and I was definitely confident because I knew what I was doing. And then I had family members saying, oh, I could beat you in a car race. I'm like, anytime you want to fucking race in a car, let's go. And of course they wouldn't. Then I have family members daring me that they can do more push-ups than I can. And it's like, okay, let's have push-up contests. And I beat the dude every time in a push-up contest in front of his employees. And that didn't go over well when I beat him every time. So, because we would take a couple weeks and get better and better and better. And it's just stupid shit. This very petty, egotistical alpha male bullshit. And I wasn't there to try to show them up, but I also wasn't there to be belittled by them. And so it just, and so it just was like this, it was this never ending bullshit. And so most of the time I'm thinking about like 9/11 stuff, and should I try to expose things and do this Knight Rider / Da Vinci Code kind of thing and put this out where it's fiction and blah, 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 and people's names are changed, and you tell people like what's going on. Should I do this, or should I go do something else? So then I start having these ideas about this big website, because I'm like, you know what, instead of go up against the elites, let's try to create a better bridge. Instead of tear down their bridge and their system of doing things, let's try to create the better bridge. So I start trying to create the better bridge, and this is when my friends are like, dude, you're going to become the Antichrist, dude. It's like, you never stop. Like you just keep figuring things out. And so I feel like the universe started to reveal to me that there's a big yin and yang balance, whatever you want to call it, where it's like back to what I was talking about in the first video. The Jewish elite and the royal families are trying to suppress and keep lockbox certain technology, while the masses are just simple-minded in the regard that they just think, ooh, more technology means better economy and more prosperity and yay. The masses don't understand that there's literally technology to blow up the fucking planet into debris, like an asteroid belt. The masses do not believe that. If that was true, it already exists. Because there's definitely not people above me on the food chain who are playing Magic Mommy and telling me that God is taking care of everything while they run around like the CIA and NSA and make sure that shit doesn't hit the fan and we don't all get blown up. I'm Jesus' favorite, and Jesus would save the world if that was a problem. He'd wave his magic wand, and then the whole, because Jesus just wants me to release this invention, and I'm the bestest, and then once I release these inventions, then everything's going to be fine, and we're not going to get blown up because we're protected, because I sang Jesus the right songs on Sunday. I mean, that's basically what you guys are. You're low IQ shit. Not saying that Jesus wasn't important, not saying Jesus wasn't who you think he is maybe, but the amount that you think that you're fucking entitled to for somebody to protect you while you make stupid fucking decisions is off the fucking charts. And so my character starts to realize this about why the elites hate the average Christian, why the elites hate the average Muslim, why the elites even hate the average Jew. The masses, just because you've joined a team doesn't mean you're not still a low IQ, mindless fucking cow, okay? And so therein lies the paradox. Telling a person who's mentally retarded that they're retarded doesn't say, they don't just say, yeah, you're right, I'm retarded, and then that magically turns them into Einstein or Ben Franklin. That doesn't happen. They're still retarded. If you're a 5 on the scale from 1 to 10, you're still a 5. I can sit here and insult you all day fucking long, which is what I instinctually want to do because that's what people used to do to me and that caused me to improve. But I've realized that you have to have the genetic ability to improve. You can't have the genetic ceiling that holds you back. and or you have to have the universe on your team where it reveals things to you so that you can improve. But if you don't have those two things, one of those two things at least, either the IQ or the universe on your side somehow, God, whatever you want to call it, revealing things to you, you're fucked. And therein lies the paradox. It's taken my character a long time to come to grips with. And he experiments with the Corvette community. He experiments with all these different things. Like, let's just see how unable to learn these motherfuckers are. And so you get 1,000 people who can learn out of 100,000 people in the Corvette community who are belong to these other groups who can't learn. Okay. And so that's all. So but anyway, if my character doesn't have a car that can get him from point A to point B without him feeling like it might backstab him and kill him, that's like having an untrustworthy horse. That's like Zorro's horse dies and gets old, and so he goes and buys a new horse from the same bloodline, and he comes to find out, my fucking horse doesn't obey me all the time. Enter the fucking C8 and the Edith glitches and all this other bullshit. So he's like, well, while I'm killing time, I may as well go back to my childhood stuff of wanting to create a Corvette shop and just create the solution for these fucking things, these cars. And now he's realized, aha, I've solved something big. And so that's ironically going to be his first step into the public spotlight is for Corvette stuff, you see? So anyway, everything's trade-offs in this world. Everything's trade-offs. And ironically, this Corvette topic is even about trade-offs. The E-diffs versus the M-diffs, what Ayrton Senna liked versus what other people like, Lewis Hamilton might like. It's all trade-offs. There's no absolute right or wrong, perfect. There's no such thing as perfect in this universe. Otherwise, there wouldn't be the need for variety. So this universe is not based on perfection. This universe is the total fucking opposite end of the spectrum. It's all about trade-offs, which is the opposite of perfection. So it's just, we're on a planet with people who can't understand that. And so I just spend a lot of time waiting for the universe to reveal things to me the same way that Einstein and Tesla did. And I get a big not yet on certain things that are in me. And it says, go fuck with Corvettes for a little bit, which is just a total fucking waste of time. If you say, okay, you got the ability to do some big shit, like you've got the ability to make Bitcoin obsolete overnight with an invention thing that you have and a voting system and all these different things, you have this stuff and you're not releasing it. There's a lot of people out there who are just very naive. It's like, release the nuclear bomb and it's going to be fine. Like, I just watched an episode with Kurt Walker Jr. Talking about how you just need to release whatever inventions you have about Bitcoin and making information non-censorable, where the government can't censor information. Yeah, just release the technology, make it to where things can't be censored. Yeah, just release it. That's Kurt's. And so he's a Christian. He's the low IQ Christian that the world elites can't stand, okay, that continue to procreate. And, okay, so I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying that he falls into that category of the idiot who doesn't, from their point of view. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm saying their point of view is the elites think that people like that are idiots. And so, because they don't understand that there's mommy protecting them from nuclear holocaust. And they don't understand that the reason why the nukes were dropped on Japan is to reduce the population and also make it so that the world understands the devastation that a nuke can bring, so that everybody says, okay, we understand. Well, we understand now. We're scared of this thing. Okay. So, and to end the war so that other teams like Germany and whoever didn't keep escalating and everybody get their hands on these things. Like, we need to end the war and call a truce for a little bit and go into this quote unquote Cold War state where we're suppressing technology from the masses. Okay. So, the opposing teams that you guys believe in are it's magic tricks for low IQ trash. It's basically, we don't care what team you join a team, and now you're under control. And you guys are all too fucking stupid to understand that. So, my team's the best. Now that I belong to this team, we can kill whoever we want, and we're Jesus' favorite, and I'm God's favorite, and I can just do whatever I want because I belong to the special team. Okay, jackass. So, it's all about, it's just a big bug light separation game to figure out just how hideously fucking dumb you all are and how unaccountable for your actions you all are. And the world leaders are right. The vast majority of you are shit. And so they have magic trick after magic trick to trap you low IQ motherfuckers and keep you under control. So in this episode, I do want to cover one more thing. Let's say you have a really stupid person, they're making the wrong choice. There's only so many things you can do with a really stupid person who insists on making a wrong choice. You can shackle them up and force them to make the right choice. You can influence them through persuasion, through paycheck, and all these other things to make the right choice. This is called slavery and or cloaked slavery, okay? You can imprison them. You can just throw them behind bars and say, you're going to sit in this cage so that you can't make the wrong choice. You can kill them. And then what's the other option? You can keep them in the dark to where you don't let them escalate mentally to knowing that that choice is even on the table for them to make. And that's where secrets come in. Like, instead of expecting everybody to be goody two-shoes and nobody builds super weapons, you make it so that everybody's distracted with a bullshit level of bullshit physics so that they can't build the secret weapons, the super weapons. The keys to make the super weapons remain secret to the masses. So it's not that the masses don't want to build bombs, it's that the masses get confused by the bullshit physics. And then the masses think that they're all stupid, which they are, because if they were smart, they'd be able to see through the magic tricks that Einstein presented. But neither here nor there. That's enough of that episode. And so my character, growing up a very highly disciplined Christian, wanting to be just like Jesus, thinking that we need to save everybody, starts to realize that, I can see why the Jewish elite don't think that Jesus was the do-all, end-all. I can see why they thought that he was naive to think that you just need to give everybody all the teachings and teach everybody everything, and that nothing needs to remain secret, aka sacred, which is why the Vatican and the Alexandrian Library and all these other things keep secrets. That's all lockboxed information. That's why you don't know what the Pyramid of Giza is. So, neither here nor there. I know that me insulting you guys and rubbing in you guys' faces just how fucking dumb you all are isn't going to make you guys smarter. Some of you it might, and that's who, in my conscience, I want to try to gather up the people who are capable of understanding, because I don't believe in treating smart people like donkeys. But the vast majority of you are donkeys. And so this whole Vet Titans thing is just to kind of get a grasp on what ratio of humanity can actually keep up with stuff. And then you have the slow people, like, I'm not even going to say their names, but you have the slow people who think that they're the shit, who are now finally realizing there's an issue with the DCTs, and are now finally realizing that there's an issue with the EDIF program on the C8, and we're at year 6, 7 of C8 production. And I knew this shit from like first time I drove the car. Like, literally, first time I drove a C8, I was like, this isn't right. There's things going on here which are bipolar. This is going to kill me like Ayrton Senna. And I used to write that religiously on all the groups. Little did I know at the time that the reason why Ayrton Senna died was because of an EDIF. I didn't actually understand that. I just knew that Ayrton Senna's car was bipolar. I hadn't put it together that he was in an EDIF car for the first time ever. He'd always been in mechanical Formula One cars prior to that. So anyway, mechanical diff Formula One cars. That's enough of that episode. Brandon, you should really make your movie and do this stuff. That. You didn't hear the moral, did you, donkey? You should make your YouTube more pretty, and then you get a million subscribers because you have some really interesting stuff. You're not understanding my moral, are you, you mindless fuck? I have more self-discipline than you could ever imagine. I am doing what I'm doing on purpose. I'm having you look at an ugly fucking wall so that the low IQ motherfuckers change the fucking channel. Ew, look how dirty that wall is. Why would I watch this guy? Next video. Oh, look how pretty this one is. Yay. Oh, pretty music. I'm gonna learn so much more from these guys. Go fuck yourselves, maggots.